There was a time when I couldn't understand why my life felt stuck in the mess at home. It wasn't terribly cluttered, but it was never finished. I would clean one area, and another would fall apart again as if the house was never truly done. It quietly drained all my energy. I felt tired, irritated, and constantly like I had no time for myself. The more I cleaned, the more I blamed myself, thinking I just wasn't organized enough or trying hard enough. I didn't think I was doing anything wrong, until one day I realized that if I stepped into 2026, living the same way, everything would stay exactly the same. In this video, I'm sharing 8 practical ways to reset your living space for 2026, not by cleaning more, but by making your home feel lighter and easier to maintain long-term. If you don't want to carry this exhaustion into the new year, keep watching. The first tip: keeping my home tidy. Once felt like mopping the floor while the faucet was still running. I carefully cleaned the right spots, cleaned again and again. But the moment I turned my back, the water spread everywhere as if nothing had changed. It was exhausting because it felt like I was always working and never actually finishing. For a long time, I cleaned on a routine. Weekends were for the living room. After that came the bedroom. The surfaces looked neat, sometimes even really good. But a few days later, everything slowly slipped back to where it was. There wasn't more stuff than before, things just kept showing up again in the exact places I had just cleaned. I felt irritated and confused. I couldn't understand what I was doing wrong because I was clearly putting in the effort. At some point, I stopped cleaning harder and started paying closer attention. Small items don't appear randomly, they follow a pattern. For me, it all started in my bag. I came home dropped in my keys, receipts, lip balm, and loose papers. Later, I pulled them out and set them on the dining table. Over time, the table stopped being a place to eat and became a just put it here for now spot. I kept cleaning the table and the living room, but the bag never changed. That's when it clicked. I wasn't cleaning at the root. I was still mopping the floor while the faucet stayed open. I kept asking why this area was messy when the real question was where these things were coming from in the first place. Once I dealt with the bag, simply giving myself one fixed spot to empty it every day, the dining table immediately felt lighter. I didn't have to clean it nearly as often because things stopped drifting there. The difference wasn't dramatic or instant, but it was real. Calmer, less repetitive, less exhausting. When cleaning over and over still leaves your home messy, it's not because you're lazy or careless. It's often because you're cleaning the wrong place. Instead of wiping every surface, look for where things actually begin. Fix one source and many other areas settle down on their own. And this way of thinking doesn't stop with cleaning. Once you notice where things come from, habits triggers daily choices, it naturally changes how you shop and spend. In the next video, I'll share simple practical ways to live with less and manage money more intentionally, so both your home and your finances feel lighter. Next, notice how what you consume every day quietly shapes what you feel you need to buy. The feeling of lacking something once felt like standing in a fully stocked kitchen and still not knowing what to cook. Looking at other people's homes, everything seemed neater, smarter, more convenient. I started believing my home wasn't good enough or that I simply hadn't bought the right things yet. The mental list of things I should get kept growing even though nothing was truly urgent. Then work took over my time. Scrolling slowed down. Shopping videos faded out. Lifestyle upgrades stopped appearing everywhere. And something strange happened at the same time. The feeling of lack softened. I looked around my home. Everything was the same, but my mind felt lighter. The urge to buy just wasn't there anymore. That pause made things clear. The issue wasn't how much I owned. It was how much input I was taking in. Watching more made me feel like I needed more. Stepping away made me feel like I already had enough. That sense of not enough wasn't spontaneous. It was being fed constantly. From that point on, buying decisions changed. Instead of comparing features or reading reviews, I stopped at one simple question. Would I think about this if I hadn't seen that content? Most of the time, the answer was no. And when the answer was no, the desire disappeared without effort. Keeping a tidy home while things keep coming in doesn't require stricter shopping rules right away. It starts with noticing what fills your attention at every day. Not to restrict yourself, but to filter. Less content that triggers buying. More content that reinforces enoughness. When the input changes, decisions shift naturally. Then replace willpower with clear space limits, so your home can decide for you. Keeping a tidy home once felt like a test of discipline. Strong people resisted buying. Weak ones didn't. Every time clutter increased, the thought followed quickly, I must not be disciplined enough. The mess felt like proof of personal failure. Reality turned out to be much simpler and harsher. Willpower isn't always available. After a long day, mental energy runs low. Making the right choice becomes hard. Saying no to something new doesn't come from logic anymore. It comes down to whether there's energy left at all. When tired willpower steps aside. Everything shifted when I stopped forcing self-control and let my space decide instead. Makeup stayed within one drawer. Papers fit into one box. Kitchen items lived only in their assigned zone. No extra shelves. No expanding storage. When a space filled up, the answer appeared automatically, there's no room. That changed everything. The inner debates disappeared. No weighing pros and cons. No convincing myself to be stronger. Space made the decision. Full meant stop. Clear and unemotional. From there, maintaining order became easier. Not because I tried harder, but because unconscious buying lost its place. The house grew quieter. My mind followed. Self-control isn't always the problem. Willpower wears out. Physical limits don't. Let space do the heavy lifting. When every item has a defined place, tidiness stops being a mental battle and becomes something stable and natural. After that, reduce what your eyes have to process instead of trying to decorate more. The house doesn't have much stuff. A lot has already been let go of. And yet, every time I walk in, my head still feels heavy. Not because it's messy, but because my eyes don't know where to rest. Everything shows up at once, keeping my mind in a constant low-level tension that's hard to shake. After watching more closely for a while, it became clear that the issue wasn't quantity. What was exhausting was the amount of visual input happening at the same time. Everyday items, bottles, containers, each one placed separately, each one quietly saying, I'm here. Before my eyes could rest, my brain was already working overtime. Nothing changed about how the home was decorated. There was no effort to make it look nicer. The change was simple, putting away things that didn't need to be seen all day. Frequently used items were grouped together on a tray. Countertops were left a little more open. Just a few small adjustments, but the difference was immediate. The key was intention. This wasn't about making the space look better to anyone else. It was about creating room for my own mind to pause. When my eyes stopped being pulled in every direction, my thoughts slowed down too. The sense of lightness came naturally without effort. After cleaning quite a bit and still feeling tired, it's easy to assume the work wasn't done well enough. In reality, the problem often isn't a lack of cleaning, but seeing too much every single day. A home doesn't need more beautiful things. It needs less visual noise. When the space quiets down, the body follows. Next, shift from emotional storage buys to durable pieces that stay reliable over time. Cheap storage items feel good in the moment. They look tidy, practical, and give the sense that a problem is being solved. That feeling doesn't last. A few months in lids, warped plastic weakens, edges stop lining up. Reorganizing becomes irritating, and the familiar thought returns, just replace it. storage slowly turns into its own category of clutter. Items meant to control mess start creating more of it. The issue isn't a lack of containers, but short-term thinking. If it's cheap, it gets taken. If it works well enough, it stays. Once the perspective shifts, storage stops being a quick fix. It becomes part of the home, something meant to stay for years. Fewer pieces, better quality. Solid construction, durable materials, long-term use. No more constant replacing, no more buy, break, replace cycles. That stability creates a noticeable calm. There's no need to check what's about to fail or what needs upgrading. The space stays steady and the mind follows. The home may not look dramatically different at first glance, but it feels lighter in a way that lasts. A house that gets cluttered quickly despite lots of storage usually isn't lacking solutions, it's relying on weak ones. One container that lasts 10 years is far lighter than several cheap ones that need replacing. Spending doesn't increase, it simply moves to where it actually helps. Then think long-term, through how you want your home to feel, not what logic tells you to justify. Poor buying decisions rarely come from ignorance. They happen when energy is gone. When tired logic steps aside and the urge to treat yourself a little takes over. The purchase happens followed by self-blame. That loop breaks when the question changes. Instead of weighing right versus wrong, discipline versus indulgence, a more emotional question takes its place 6 months from now. How do I want to feel when I walk into my home calm, quiet, not resetting everything again? That feeling carries more weight than arguments ever could. Decisions become simpler. There's no need to force strength or justify restraint. Choices are filtered through the desire for long-term ease, not short-term relief. The same applies to cleaning. Starting is uncomfortable and tiring. The feeling afterward lasts much longer. When the image of a lighter life stays clear, cleaning stops feeling like punishment and becomes preparation for an easier way of living. Knowing a lot but struggling to act usually isn't a motivation problem. Logic doesn't function well when exhausted. The feeling of the life you want to maintain is a far steadier guide. Next, stop separating housework from life and let it move naturally through your day. Housework feels heavy not because there's too much of it, but because it gets lumped into one big task waiting to be done. It's pushed aside with the thought of doing it later when there's time, energy, and the right mindset. Those conditions rarely align, so tasks pile up quietly while fatigue grows. A different approach appears when housework isn't separated from daily living. Dishes get washed while cooking instead of being stacked in the sink. Countertops get wiped while waiting not to be perfect, but to reduce what comes later. When the meal ends, the kitchen is nearly done too. Nothing extra, just fewer repeat cycles. Handled this way, housework no longer demands a separate block of time. There's no waiting for motivation and no need for perfection. It becomes part of the rhythm of the day, lighter and less stressful. Exhaustion usually comes not from the amount of work, but from carrying unfinished tasks in your head. When small things are handled as they pass, pressure drops quickly. The feeling of still not done fades. Housework doesn't need to be completed all at once. It doesn't need the perfect moment to begin. Let it move with daily life without piling up or being delayed. When that happens, it stops feeling like a burden, and the living space becomes far easier to be in. Finally, choose tools based on how you actually live, not how they're advertised. Many tools sound incredibly appealing when introduced. Polished visuals, high ratings, constant praise. It feels like bringing one home will instantly make the space cleaner and more organized. Everything sounds convincing enough to believe the problem is about to be solved. Reality tends to differ. Once the tool arrives, small issues appear. The size doesn't fit the space well. The way it works doesn't match daily habits. Each use requires clearing space, moving furniture, or adjusting setup. None of these inconveniences are major, but together they create resistance. Usage becomes less frequent until the tool ends up parked in a corner, rarely touched. When a tool sits unused, the home isn't cleaner. There's simply one more item to store dust and think about. Something bought to reduce work quietly adds more of it. Advertising may be accurate for many people, but that doesn't mean it suits every home. Buying becomes easier when the question is simplified. Not is this good, but does this fit how I live? Homes with pets. Need tools designed for fur. Multi-level homes need lightweight, portable equipment. Spaces with high shelving need flexible tools. Popularity matters far less than whether something gets used regularly without friction. Items that rarely get used are the clearest sign of a mismatch between tools and real life. A tidy home doesn't come from owning better things, but from having what's already there support the way life actually works. When tools truly fit, cleaning becomes natural and the space feels lighter in a lasting way. Looking back, I no longer clean the way I used to. I don't chase surface-level neatness or push myself to be more disciplined every day. I focus on a few root points instead, where things begin, what I allow into my home, and how I give my space room to rest. Those small shifts are what help my home stay settled longer, and they've made my mind feel lighter too. You don't need to redo everything. Pick one spot in your home that feels the most draining and start at the source. Or spend a day simply noticing what makes you want to buy more and what makes you feel like you already have enough. In the next video, I'll be sharing practical ways to live more simply and manage money more intentionally without pressure or extremes. If this video helped you feel even a little lighter, feel free to give it a like. And if you'd like more calm, honest conversations about home money and simple living, you can subscribe to stay here. I'll see you in the next one.